President Trump's statement is interesting because we have to remember that just 3 days ago, he said that he has no intention in changing the regime in Iran. So we don't know how things will play out. Definitely now that we know that U.S. studying its military operation or escalating its military operation in Venezuela. So I don't know how they can combine between both. I think that President Trump wants to show himself as someone that not aligned with President Obama policy, but in 2009 didn't support the riots back then, what we call the Green Revolution. The real question is still if the regime will continue to killing protests, and this protesters, this is what it will do because it needs to protect itself. What the U.S. will do, I think that will be the magic question. If the U.S. will join in, it will have a significant effect, but it can actually push the U.S. inside a bloody war. If they're not going to intervene, actually maybe it's going to weaken the protests in terms of the fact that they will know that in the end of the day, nobody will back them. So I think a lot is actually depending on how the U.S. will develop or will use its force or will be willing to use its force in order to protect the protesters. It's a very unique event. I don't think that it will have a significant impact on the Iranian behavior on the ground because for the regime itself, it will have to protect itself. It will have to prevent the demonstrators to pose a threat to the regime. So I think it's a unique development, but it's really we have to wait and see whether President Trump will be willing to back his word with operation or use of kinetic activities in order to defend the protester. I'm not sure it's there yet, but we have to wait and see. But definitely interesting development.
Mr. Danny, though you have said that we do not know where the situation will go, but if the current protest in Iran were to significantly weaken or even topple the government, what implication could it have for the regions and regional stability, I would say, in West Asia, particularly in conflict zones where Iran has influence?
It's a very good question. I think that first we have to ask ourselves what we need to see in order to understand that the regime is in danger. So definitely we'll see millions on the streets, not thousands as we see right now. Cross country, including in Tehran, we'll see defectors coming out from the army of the Basij protesting with the protesters. Then we'll know that there is a huge risk to the regime itself. Now, we have to remember that it's not a 0-1 in terms of the regime is there or the regime will be toppled. There can be other developments. For example, Khamenei can sacrifice Pezeshkian, the president, and force him to resign. We'll have a change of that. We can see maybe, again, it's a long shot, but it can happen, theoretically, that IGC will come to the Supreme Leader and say, listen, you have to step down.